Welcome again, everyone, on my YouTube channel. And now, after discussing brachial plexus axilla, we have came across another important topic of the upper limb, which is breast. It is important anatomically, physiologically, as well as emotionally for human beings. So let us discuss breast in detail with fun. Okay. So before discussing about the breast, we must look that under which headings we have to discuss it so that we can write it easily in the examination also. So we have to discuss about the introduction of the breast, what is the situation of the breast and its extensions, what are the deep relations, what are the structures which are deep in respect to breast. Then what is the structure of breast? What comprises the breast? What is the blood supply, nerve supply, lymphatic drainage, and development along with its clinical significance. The lymphatic drainage of breast is very important topic and it is covered in vast paragraphs in majority of anatomy books. So we will look how we can make it more easier, more interactive and more fun to learn the lymphatic drainage of breast by making simple diagrams and simple flowcharts. So stay tuned. So let's start. The introduction part. Introduction. It is a prominent structure of pectoral region. Where? Pectoral region. You know that the breast lies in the superficial fascia, so it is a capsule-less structure. Okay, because as we can see that the most superficial part or the most superficial structure in a female body is the breast in the pectoral region. So since it is situated in the superficial space, it is not surrounded by a capsule and it is hence capsule-less. Now what actually breast is? It is not an organ to be excited about, but it is simply a sweat gland, which is a modified apocrine type. So the breast is a apocrine modified sweat gland. Okay, apocrine modified sweat gland. It is a sweat gland which is apocrine type. Now let me know in the comment section what is an apocrine gland refers to. Next topic is what is the situation and extent. So vertically it is situated from second rib to the sixth rib. This means that, look in the diagram, if this is the vertical extension of breast, then it lies at the level of second rib. And if it is the lowermost part of the vertical extension of breast, then it will lie roughly at the level of sixth rib. Okay, second rib and sixth rib. Okay, horizontally its extension will be, now you can see on the medial aspect. On the medial aspect, this is the midline, and the midline structure in the thoracic region is the manubrium sterni. Okay, so horizontally on the medial aspect, it has the lateral border of sternum. Lateral border of the sternum. Okay, and laterally it lies at the border of mid-axillary line. Mid-axillary line. If this is axilla, then this is the mid-axillary line. Okay. Its extension into axilla by axillary tail of Spencer via foramen of Langer. Now, to understand this fact, I must say कि जो breast है उसका कुछ part axilla में भी जाता है. और उस पार्ट को हम बोलते हैं एक्सिलरी टेल ऑफ स्पेंसर, जो आप यहाँ पर देख सकते हैं, एक्सिलरी टेल ऑफ स्पेंसर। और ये जिस फोरामेन के थ्रू जाता है, जिस गैप के थ्रू जाता है, उसको हम बोलते हैं फोरामेन ऑफ लैंगर। क्या बोलते हैं हम? ये जो गैप दिख रहा है आपको, ये दिस इज द फोरामेन ऑफ लैंगर। So this is about the situation and extent of the breast. Moving on to the deep relations of breast, we have this small and beautiful diagram. I know that in the pectoral region, breast is the most superficial structure. Deep to it, we have three muscles. The green one marked is the pectoralis major. The blue color marked is serratus anterior, and the red color marked is external oblique. And these are arranged in the same order as they lie in relation of each other. Like we can see that if this is my head, this is my, so superficially we have pectoralis major. Deep to it we have pectoralis minor, and deep to it we have serratus anterior, and deep to serratus anterior we have external oblique coming from the abdomen region. So this is how the deep relation of breast is formed. Now you are looking on the diagram which is given below. We can see that the breast is connected to the pectoral fascia by suspensory ligaments of Cooper, or we can say Cooper, suspensory ligaments of Cooper. Okay, what is the significance of suspensory ligaments of Cooper? These Cooper ligaments are responsible for maintaining the shape of breast. Maintain the shape of the breast. Okay. If due to any reason the suspensory ligaments of Cooper gets damaged, gets destroyed, then the breast will not be in the position as it remains naturally, and due to gravitational force, or due to gravity, the breast will dip down. Okay, so in normal female the breast will be like this, or in the cut section the breast will be like this. But when suspensory ligament of Cooper gets destroyed, the breast due to gravity is pulled downwards, and this we called, or this with name is the fallen breast. Okay. The next structure you are seeing in this diagram is tubercles of Montgomery. Tubercles of Montgomery. What are these tubercles of Montgomery? These are modified sebaceous glands. What I say? These are modified sebaceous glands, and they get hypertrophied during lactation. To more understand it clear, look at this flow chart. Are you seeing the areola? The areola of the breast is rich in modified sebaceous gland, it is sebum secreting, and these forms tubercles of Montgomery during lactational period, that when the baby is sucking the breast milk to really lubricate the breast. The purpose here is to lubricate the breast. Okay, these are the alveoli. The next structure you are seeing is the alveoli. Alveoli, what is the function of alveoli of the breast, not of lung? Okay, so the alveoli of breast stores milk or synthesis the milk. Okay, so this is about the deep relation of the breast. The deep to breast, we can see there are tubercles of Montgomery, which also forms a structural component of breast, the suspensory ligament of Cooper, the retromemory space, the pectoralis major along with pectoral fascia. This retromemory space is very important because this space gives an free space for the movement of breast to occur. If there was no retromemory space, the breast would be a statue-like structure having no movements. But in alive human, alive female, the breast is a movable structure. This means that an hollow structure or a hollow cavity, a hollow space is present behind the breast to facilitate its movements. So this is the significance of retromemory space. Next, we come to the structure of breast. Structure of breast is given in long paragraph comprising of 3 to 4 pages, and it becomes really difficult for a normal student who is studying anatomy for the first time to understand its concept. So why not simplify the structure of breast by making its flowchart? So let us understand the structure of breast using this flowchart. So the structure of breast is divided on a broad basis into 3 categories: the skin, the parenchyma, and the stroma. Okay, the skin is further subdivided into the nipple and areola. The nipple, as we all know, lies in the fourth intercostal space, but this is not always true because in females whose breast is pendulous or whose breast is fallen, the nipple position will shift to a greater intercostal space. That is, maybe it may be fifth, it may be sixth, or in some, if there is hyperactivity of suspensory ligaments, there may be an upward position of the nipple, and the nipple position may shift to third intercostal space also. So the position of nipple is not a constant part of the anatomy of breast, but on a general basis in a normal female, we can assume it to be lying in the fourth intercostal space. Another important fact about nipple is that it is pierced by 15 to 20 lactiferous ducts. Lactiferous ducts. Now let's come to diagram. This you can see, these are the lactiferous ducts. This is the lactiferous ducts. Okay, this is a lactiferous duct, and you can see this is the nipple, and it is being pierced by lactiferous ducts. It has circular and longitudinal smooth muscles. So what you have to remember: smooth muscles, circular and longitudinal. Circular for erection of nipple and longitudinal for retraction of nipple. This is important. So if you have used toys in your childhood, when you were sucking the nipple of your mother, I was also doing the same. Then you may remember that on some toys or on the majority of plastic toys, a term was written CE, like that. So if you are getting or if you are remembering that term, then you can remember by this mnemonic CE. C for circular, E for erection, C, E. और सिंपल C, C, E. दो C बना दो और दूसरे वाले C को E बना दो, तो CE. So circular smooth muscle for erection and other one is for retraction. Nipple area is rich in nerve supply. It is sensitive to the sensations. Okay. The next is areola. Areola surrounds the base of nipple and is pigmented. That is important. It is pigmented. It means that if you see the nipple, this is the nipple and this is the darker area surrounding it. So this grayish part is nipple and this part is areola. Okay, and it is rich in modified sebaceous gland. Now remember, breast is a modified sweat gland. Okay, and areola, which is a part of breast, is a modified sebaceous gland which forms tubercles of Montgomery to lubricate the breast so that baby can easily suck the milk out from the breast. Okay. The next structure of breast is parenchyma. Parenchyma consists of true mammary gland. It is a compound tubulo-alveolar sweat gland which secretes milk, and it is also capsule-less. Okay, it is also capsule-less. The next part is stroma, which forms the supporting framework. Now, since supporting framework came into the point, we have this structure, suspensory ligament of copper, which act as a stromal part of the breast, partly fibrous and it is partly fatty. Fibrous part from suspensory ligament of copper, as we have already discussed. So that's all about the structure of breast.